Good morning, or maybe even good afternoon for some of you. This is Lisa Lashendro. I am one of the annuity sales directors here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, and it is my pleasure to share some time with you this morning slash afternoon with David Downing at F&G and talking about the number one income product in our industry as of this very moment. So, I do see that we have quite a few folks on our webinar today. So, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to throw it in the questions box. If there's time for David and I to get to it, we'll absolutely answer that. Otherwise, do be prepared for me to be reaching out to all of you to just check in, make sure you're all good. See if you need anything after this webinar. I'll be getting in touch with you today or tomorrow. Um, I do see some new folks on here, and that always makes me really, really happy. So, for some of you that are already working with IMES, again, I appreciate your business. We couldn't be the IMES family without you. And so we appreciate your continued business with us. And then for those of you that are new, and this might be your first webinar with IMES, welcome aboard. I'm excited to get to know you. I'm going to go over just some house cleaning things, make sure everybody's aware. Maybe you need a reminder of some of the perks you get with us here at IMES. Maybe you're not aware of some of those things. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get that rolling because I know you're all anxious and dying to hear from my buddy David. When you first get contracted with IMES, and you start writing your production, whether it's life insurance, single premium life, term, um, annuities. I'm on the annuity side, so of course that's going to be my favorite part. Whatever level you hit in the first 6 months that you are with us, we're going to show you how much we appreciate you giving us a shot. Let us show you how we partner with you in putting money back into your pocket for growth, to grow your business, to grow your production. And that is really the basis point of this program, our new producer builders program. So for an example, if you write 100,000 in your first 6 months, it would be equivalent to maybe $750 in cash or marketing. It could be iPad, maybe a mailing, maybe it's help out with a website, whatever. And I'm going to talk about our creative team here in a minute that will give you the A through Z of everything that they are capable of doing for you to make sure that we're fitting the needs of your business instead of trying to just sell you something because that's not what we're about. So with that, if you have any questions, again, make sure you're letting me know. Next, there is no better compliment in our industry than a referral. I really do hope that you are basing your business off of a referrals and not letting those slide through the cracks. If that's something you need help with, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm pretty good at it. Um, but I love getting referrals as well. If you think that, you're getting great service and this is something that would benefit maybe a colleague of yours or a buddy of yours that's also in the industry, send them my way. I'd love to talk to them and love to build their business as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to give you a thank you and in the form of a check. And this is going to be sent to you on a quarterly basis. And what that is, depending on the type of production or the type of business that they are writing in, will depend on how many basis points you get on that business. So let's say, they're writing 300,000 in annuities. We're going to send you a check for 20 basis points that comes out of our pocket, Steve Murray, sending a check directly to you. This doesn't shave anything off of your buddy's commission. Nothing comes out of anywhere else but our account here at IMES. So it's just a way for us to continue to thank you for referring those folks over to us and make sure that you're aware that you've got that option too. Our back office support is definitely some of the best in the business. Our new business people, they know these applications inside and out. And if you need to know that you have the right form, or maybe it's a firelight question, we'll get to that in a minute. Um, Case design, you've got me to help you with all of your case design. You just let me know what the client's needs are. You tell me what their goals are, and then we'll talk about options. Maybe it's an income option. I'm going to tell you F&G is the #1 spot for income options right now if you look on Annuity Rate Watch. So whether it's life quotes, anything, our back office support is here so that you're not wasting your time trying to figure things out. We want you doing what you do best, and that's being in front of people. That's building those relationships. That's your job. Our job is to give you the time to do that. So that's what our back office is about. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to let us know. Also, if you do not have our website saved on your browser, you're just going to type in www.imesinc.com. Go to the top right, hit the little star, and boom, you've saved us to your browser. Now you have a plethora of resources at your fingertips. There's our sales resource library. A lot of people tend to forget about that one. But if you're wanting to continue to drip on your clients, which you should be doing, right? Then you need help coming up with content or material. A sales resource library has everything and anything that you could ever want: life insurance, annuities, tax info. This is the tax season is here, so maybe that's something that you want to look at, and just stay in front of your clients, letting them know that you're there to help them. We also have on our IMES website Firelight, best EAP source in the industry. Um, Firelight, we have a majority of all carriers are on Firelight, and the way I'm seeing this industry roll is EAP is going to be a requirement coming down for everybody. Right now, we have a lot of carriers. I know F&G with their Guarantee Platinum series that has to be done on Firelight. A lot of other carriers are requiring Firelight for all of their products. I will tell you that once you use it, you'll be happy as it gets, because you're not going to have to worry about not having the right disclosure form, not having the most updated application, missing a signature, missing a section, suitability issues. I mean, all those NIGO emails that you get that drive you absolutely bonkers, that can be alleviated with Firelight and getting those things done a lot faster. So you get your commission faster, client gets their contract faster, and everybody's happy. I do always like to chime in and have, ask Dave to give his, opinion on Firelight versus paper apps from a carrier point of view. I feel like it's important for you guys to hear from him on that too. David, you mind chatting a little bit about that?
Yeah, happy to plug in. One of my favorite things about the EAP is it just has so many safeguards in place where if you have a number that's in the wrong spot or something's not jiving, it'll actually stop you before you submit that case. You don't have to go back to the client. I think anytime you can eliminate or lower the chance or probability of having to go back to the client for additional signatures is a really, really good thing. As Lisa mentioned, really the whole industry has kind of shifted. And I know we're one of the carriers that if you're doing a MIGA, it has to be on an EAP. It helps with the profitability of the product. Just giving you a little insider baseball from the carrier standpoint. When it comes to product profitability, it's a good thing for you guys, right? Better product, better compensation, all those sort of things go along with the use of utilizing the EAP. So those of you that are using the EAP, we really appreciate it. You're helping us with efficiency, and you're helping Lisa and her team with the amount of scrubs and things like that they have to do on their end.
Absolutely. Appreciate you chiming in on that. If you are nervous about utilizing Firelight or any of that, I've walked a 95-year-old through Firelight. So if I can get a 95-year-old to use Firelight and be happy with it, give me the challenge. I promise you I'll get you through it. We will work with you, make sure you're comfortable and confident. So don't ever hesitate to ask us to help you with that as well. Creative marketing. So remember at the very beginning of my commercial here is, that new producer builder bonus, right? Well, our creative team can literally do anything from A to Z, whether it's creating or recreating your logo. Maybe it's business cards, maybe brochures, maybe you want them to tidy up your website, make it more attractive. We can do that. Maybe you want us to build one for you from scratch. We can do that too. I have had all sorts of different requests. We customize everything for our agent. So, if you don't see something listed or, you're curious about something, we're just a phone call away. Any of us can help you with that and get you over to our creative team and we'll get something developed for you. So keep that in mind. Why don't you talk about this? This is one of my favorite topics. One of the favorite things I love about IMES is we have our sister company, IMES Wealth Management, and I'm going to launch a poll here um, for all of you while I talk about this. So, our IMES Wealth Management team, if you are happy with the service that you're getting from life and annuities and here in this office, you're going to love IMES Wealth Management as well because they mirror that. They mirror that concept of customer service. And they do literally everything for you. Like we do all your case design, we help you with your applications, we help you scrub applications, make sure you have the right forms and all that. Well, they do the same thing. I believe they even, take care of all of your website costs. They will also do all of your compliance. And I don't know if you've ever been registered, um, and let your license go. A lot of times you're letting your license go because of all the regulations and the compliance aspect of it. So IMES Wealth Management takes all of that off your plate. They just are there to support you in any way that they can. Now, that's for those of you that, are already registered. You have your 6, 63, 7, whatever. Now, those of you that are not registered, maybe you have no desire to get registered and you have to partner with somebody to write that registered business with. Well, what happens when you partner with somebody? They want their half of the commission on the annuities and the life stuff too. Stuff that you didn't need their help with. And I know this because when I was an agent years ago, that's what I had to do before I got registered, before I got my 6 and 63. I had to bring someone in and then, we talked about annuities, life insurance, whatever. Guess what? They ended up on my application and took some of my commission, which I did not need them to do. Um, well, if you go to IMES Wealth Management with your clients' needs, they will keep their paws off of all the rest of the business that you're talking to for that client. So it's really helping you keep your clients in your own backyard and controlling that a bit more. If you did decide, you know what, I do want to get registered. I think I can add this to my business. I'm going to add this as another part of my portfolio. Um, you can certainly do that, but guess what IMES management is going to do? IMES Wealth Management is going to transfer those clients back to you. Nobody else is going to do that in our industry, and I think we all know that. So if that doesn't tell you about the integrity of IMES Wealth Management, I don't know what does. The other thing is that if you are looking at getting registered, wanting to take the exam, Duncan Smith over there can help you with that as well. So if you checked yes, be prepared. Duncan Smith will be reaching out to you, answering any of your questions. And I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and keep on moving on. All right, we do also offer a 2-day training. We do probably anywhere between 2 to 4 of these a year, just kind of depending on weather and things like that. But we try to do them spring, summer, and early fall. Sometimes we'll have them here at our home office in Omaha, Nebraska. Sometimes we'll do them in Des Moines. Just kind of depends on the needs and what's going on. But we take care of a majority of the cost, and we bring in the best of the best. And you're rubbing elbows with the best of the best. You're walking away with tools and ideas to grow your business. And that's really the purpose of our trainings. So it's a 2-day training. We fly you in on Wednesday. We fly you out on Friday. Keep your eye open for marketing emails. So when we get closer and get some of these ramped up, we'll definitely be sending out emails on that so that you can get registered. Next, we love our trips. We want to thank our top producers for the business that they write with us. So we will be doing another trip here, announcing that here probably in the next month or so. So keep your eye out for that. It is an 18-month qualification period. And then I think this year we're doing Kiowa Island, and we've got probably anywhere between 30 and 40 producers going. So definitely achievable. And with that, we have our Facebook and LinkedIn. Obviously, we're a marketing organization, so we're going to have that too. Feel free to go and check those out, like the page, and take whatever you want from that. David Downing.
Yes,
Are you ready, my friend?
I am.
All right. I'm going to share my screen with you, bud. And everybody get excited to hear from David talking about the number one income product in our industry right now.
There we go. I just want to thank you for the time, Lisa. And assuming you can see my screen, just want to give me a yes if you can.
Yes.
Awesome. And have to apologize. We had planned this for last week, but GoToWebinar, the software that we use to host these, was completely down. So it wasn't my fault, wasn't Lisa's fault. It was GoToWebinar, completely down. So happy to be able to pivot to today, February. It feels crazy that it's already February, but here we are. And Lisa gave a pretty good introduction. We're going to talk about the Safe Income Advantage. This is the number one guaranteed income product in the space, but it's not just an income product. It does a lot of things pretty well, and we have some really great marketing pieces that go along with it. So that's where we're going to spend a good majority of our time today, talking about some of the features of this product, talking about some of the concepts, and some of the things that your clients are experiencing right now in today's marketplace. I have two parents that just retired, and they're experiencing some of this stuff now. And it's a challenging time to be newly retired in the United States. But before we get to all that doom and gloom, I'm going to give you guys a quick commercial on F&G. The team here, some call us the dream team, but this is the team at F&G that supports IMS and therefore ultimately supports you all on this call. From left to right, we have Miss Tia Stanley. She's the National Account VP, also a member of the board of directors for NAFA. They're the ones that behind the scenes are fighting the good fight to make sure that fixed index annuities stay in the hands of agents like yourself and ultimately are going to be able to get to consumers. Then you have myself, David Downing, National Account Manager. In this role, I work with groups like IMS. So if you're at an IMS event, home office meeting, et cetera, and there is an F&G presence, it'll either be myself or Miss Tia Stanley. And then all the way on the right-hand side is the newest addition of our team, Jennifer Howe. She's our senior internal wholesaler. She's the one that's behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly. But she comes to us, the newest addition to our sales team with over 15 years of experience in the industry. So really excited to have her on the team, get her up and running and be able to support you guys on this call with concepts, helping Lisa get some marketing flyers out, things like that. That's her role here within the team. But the company that we represent is F&G. F&G's been around for over 60 years. I always throw this plug in there, but we released our first fixed index annuity in 1998. In 1998, I was 5 years old. 2 months ago, I turned 30. So 25 years we've been in the fixed index annuity marketplace. I know, Lisa, you chuckle a little bit, but have to throw that in there. Makes it feel real.
Rub it in.
But it's been a long time we've been in this marketplace. Fixed index annuities are what we do, and we do them really well. But I like to bring up the 5-year snapshot because this is really going to be the F&G that you all know and work with today. And that started in 2017. We formed a partnership with Blackstone. They are the world's largest alternate asset manager. We formed that partnership. It was all about sustainability. We don't ever want to be a company that's known for fire selling products, great introductory rates and not so great rates year 2 through 9. So that partnership with them is all about sustainability and long-term sustainability on our products, as well as having some pretty good yields. After that partnership, upgraded to A- by AM Best. 2020 acquired by F&F. If you don't know who F&F is, if you have a mortgage, chances are you have mortgage insurance through F&F. They are the largest title insurance company in the United States. And the reason I highlight that is if you think about our marketplace and how it's exploded versus the mortgage industry, they kind of work inverse, right? So it's a really nice relationship where you're almost hedging your bet on either side. Rates go down, mortgages sell, right? Rates go up, annuities sell. So really nice hedging partnership. They've been a really great partner of F&G. A's across the board. This slide doesn't show Encompass 2023, but at the end of 2023, AM Best moved us from A- to A. Moody's moved us to A, or whatever their scale is. So we are A's across the board now, upgraded from standard outlook, stable outlook to positive outlook across the board. We're continuing to knock the door of these rating agencies to make sure they're recognizing our capital strength and stature. So A's across the board. 2022, we spun off. We are now a publicly traded company. The reason I bring that up is I'm sure if we were in a room right now and I said, do any of you work with accountants or actuaries that want to really peel back the layers of the onion? You all would probably raise your hand thinking about maybe that one horror story. But it's awesome because now all of our statements are public, meaning if you have that client that wants to deep dive on our financials, you can hand them our Q4 earnings statements and let them dig through it. So really awesome in terms of transparency. In addition to that, investors are seeing value. I'm not here to tell you to buy stock in F&G, but we opened at 17. We're currently trading above $40. So obviously investors are also seeing value in F&G and what we offer to the marketplace. In terms of standing last year, I like to throw this up here because you think about the big two at the top, but number 5 in FIA sales, fixed index annuity sales in 2023. So pretty cool. Pretty cool to be up on this list and really, again, that highlights where we're focusing, right? It's making sure that our products are attractive at the beginning and to make sure they're attractive long-term. That's what these partnerships are all about. That's where we want to be positioned in the marketplace today, but pretty cool. And usually when you have the number 5 in sales, you don't get a number 1 in JD Power for customer satisfaction.
Well, just to add to that, David, a lot of those companies are old, 120-year-old, carriers that have been there for, that just goes to show that F&G just keeps going up and up and up, and their focus is to continue that route. So
yeah, appreciate the plug, Lisa. Last year we were number 2 in overall customer satisfaction. We doubled down on our investment in our people, in our processes, and in our products, the 3 Ps, right? To make sure that we could be number 1 in overall customer satisfaction. I'm going to save you guys reading off this screen, but what this means is when you're offering an F&G product, you can be confident that your client's going to be happy, right? Making sure you have a good product, good interaction, good statements, good price, good communication. That's what this award is all about. So really excited to receive number 1 in overall customer satisfaction. Went from the number 2 place to the number 1 place. So not a bad couple of years here at F&G. Really excited about this award and what it means for you all on this call. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, the safe income advantage. As Lisa mentioned, this is the number 1 guaranteed income product for almost all the situations where a client's going to need guaranteed income. That's from that age 60 to age 70, that retirement sweet spot where clients are looking to take guaranteed income. But before we get into the product, I kind of want to talk to you guys about how we created this product with the consumer in mind. And we created this actually before inflation took hold, but it has some really good levers around inflation and around hedging against inflation for your clients. So top two things year over year over year over year over year that clients are worried about when it comes time to retire. Running out of money. Now more than ever, we're having more retirees that are retiring without pensions, right? How many people on the call have pensions? Probably not many. They're a dying item. They're a dying package at your job. Most jobs are offering 401k, whatever. So when people retire, they're kicked out the door now with no pension, but they have $500,000. Can I make that last, or will I live too long? If you are like myself, you're a Downing male, my grandpa, my great grandpa, all past age 90, right? So when you think about living long, happy life, I don't want to worry about running out of money. And then, of course, maintaining lifestyle, cost of living. Things are going up. They said you have something to add there?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, even on pensions, I mean, the few pensions that are out there, I'm happy to compete with those. Because a lot of them are kind of changing. You're still at the employer's mercy of, what could and could maybe possibly happen. I haven't ran into a pension in the last year that I haven't outperformed. So don't let a pension scare you off.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, as Dr. Michael Finke says, there has never been a better time to retire. Even after the negative couple of years we had in the marketplace and bond yields, because your money can buy you so much more income right now than it's been able to in the past. But maintaining lifestyle cost, and anytime I'm in person and I'm presenting on this, I'll ask the room, we think about cost increasing, we think about milk, gas, food, things like that. But I want to challenge you to take that a step further. And for those of you that are on the call that own homes, has your property tax ever gone down? I've owned a house for 6 years now, and I have never once received a letter in the mail from our local government here saying that your property taxes are going down. Same with insurance, home, auto. All of my insurances are continuing to go up and up and up, right? Even as you have your house paid off, these are fixed costs that going into retirement, you may not be accounting for, that are continuing to increase year over year over year. So as you think about retiring, or your client thinks about retiring, these are some things or some costs that they need to make sure that they're budgeting for. And let's expand this a little further about timing. This is really interesting because if you think about those people that have retired, and I'll segue this in a minute to where we're at today, but those people that have retired over the last 3 years are experiencing these two things right now. And that is, if you have a sequence of negative or low returns in an early period when you're taking withdrawals, the chance of you running out of money is significantly higher than if you had that same negative yield later on in retirement. So if you retired last year or 2 years ago, when bond yields were negative, when the S&P was negative, very negative, right? The chance of you running out of money is greater. And let's combine that with the sequence of inflation, which is if we have high inflation, right, early on, so same concept as returns, but if we have high inflation early on, the chance of us running out of money is substantially higher than if we had a gradual inflation over a long period of time. So you think about these two things that we're saying, if they happen, will basically reduce the likelihood that you have enough money to retire long term. And you think about the last 2 years, these are scenarios that your clients are facing, especially if they just retired, because we have periods of high negative returns, and we also have periods of high inflation. So it's the 2 for 1 if you just retired, right? Let's expand on that just a little bit here and talk about that sequence of inflation risk. And I think that bullet point is really the first bullet point there on the screen is really riveting when you think about your clients today. And that is, a retiree is most at risk of inflation if it occurs during the first 3 years of retirement. They're dealing with it right now. The Fed is continuing to bump rates, but Powell just had a press conference on Monday and said inflation is still sticky, right? They're not planning to slash rates anytime soon. So we have that market instability combined with inflation. And right now, what does that create? That creates this scenario. Nearly half of the pre-retirees are considering delaying or going back to work. That's pretty interesting. We have people that have worked their entire lives that are considering working longer because of the inflation and market stability that's going on in the United States right now. That's pretty scary stuff, right? When you think about where we're at as a country, we think about the S&P is positive right now, but there's 7 stocks that are basically holding up the S&P. So when do the cards collapse, right? And that's what's being showed here by our retirees, right? They are thinking about working longer or thinking about not retiring at all. And this is probably the most riveting, is those who have retired, 50% of those that we surveyed are considering coming back to work or have came back to work. Lisa, I know you talk about your retirement plans going to Florida. You're going to go to Florida and go back to work if inflation and negative yields take over during your early retirement years?
2 worst times to ever lose anything in retirement is 5 years before or 5 years within, because you're not going to recoup it in time. So I say stop the bleeding, David. Stop the bleeding.
And then maybe the most interesting statistic that we got from all of this is almost 60% of Generation X, age 50 to age 58, we're talking about those that, like Lisa said, pretty close to retiring, can't afford to lose any more than what they've already lost recently, are not using a financial professional. And that is where the opportunity lies for you all on this call, right? So you're close to retirement, you have a 401k, an IRA, Roth IRA, whatever it is. Let's roll that thing into the safe income advantage. Make sure your principal's protected. Let's give you a guaranteed roll-up rate. Let's basically create a pension within this fixed index annuity. And that's what this concept is all about. But it's a little bit different than the concept you're used to. And a lot of that has to do with some of the flexibility that we offer within this contract. Most of your guaranteed income stories are going to be based around level income, right? So you retire today, you get $5,000. That's what you get for the rest of your life. With the safe income advantage, your client has not 1, not 2, but 3 different income options to select when they turn income on. Now, why is that important? Because flexibility is important in retirement. When you turn the income on, you get to select one of these 3 options. You get to select either fixed increasing option, which increases 3.5% every year until it's out of cash, or the inflation-based option. Hot button topic right now is inflation. Your client can hedge against inflation. Think of this like a 5% cap on income based on the CPIU. So last year, inflation year over year, 7%. Your client would receive a 5% increase in their income. That goes all the way until they're out of cash value, or they can put the level amount, which is ultimately going to put the most money in their pocket up front. So this provides awesome flexibility. So let's say you're talking to your client today, you're selling them on an inflation-based strategy. 5 years down the road, we're not worried about inflation anymore. The Fed has jacked up rates so high, the client just wants to put the most money in their pocket. At time of income, they can select any 3 of these options. It offers great flexibility. And oh, by the way, because F&G is ownership driven, we can add a joint annuitant, aka a spouse, to a qualified account. So if you have a breadwinner that is concerned about their spouse not being able to survive when they're gone, this is a great option for them. But again, it all comes down to that flexibility. None of these options have to be picked at time of application. Once you turn the income on, that's when you're picking the option that fits best for your client. And oh, by the way, check out this great feature. If the client can't do 2 of 6 daily living activities, we're going to double their income until they're out of cash. So there is no 5-year limit. As long as there's a single dollar in the cash value account, they're going to receive this benefit. And how this is unique and different is because this is not a confinement-based rider. Of course, check your states, but in almost all the states that we offer this rider in, this is based on daily living activity. So what's that mean for your client? That means it's easier for them to access the use of this rider than it is with some of our competitors. I've seen quite a few of these go paid. Physician sends a letter saying, my client can't do 2 of 6. It's expected to be permanent. It started on this date, and boom, we start sending out those double payments. So what does that look like? Let's say your client's receiving $25,000 in guaranteed income. They can't do 2 of 6 daily living activities. We start paying them $50,000 right away until they're out of cash value. Now, we talked about adding a spouse earlier. So what if they have the spouse in the contract? If they have the spouse in the contract, they're going to get 1.5 times that withdrawal payment, again, until the account value is gone. So let's talk about this at another level or in a real life scenario. So Jane and John are married. They have a contract. John can't do 2 of 6. We start paying them $37,500. 2 years later, John passes away. Well, Jane, being still alive, continues to receive that $25,000 until the day she dies. So it's a really great option to protect your spouse and to make sure your spouse has guaranteed income and a living benefit, even if you're both still alive. It's a really great opportunities. But let me show you the meat and potatoes of this product, how it works. I'm going to give you a nice little concept, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But how does this thing grow? How does your client's money grow in those 5, 6, 7 years that we're deferring? 7.2% compounding roll-up rate. Everybody knows the rule of 772. That's if you wait for 10 years, your income base doubles, right? Or your investment doubles. So pretty cool stuff there. What's not on this slide, I get a lot of questions about, is this product can be used right away. So what does that mean? You have a client that's retiring next week, no problem. Safe Income Advantage application gets approved. We can turn on income day one. They don't have to wait a full year. Guaranteed income first year, pretty good stuff. Also pretty big on here is that daily crediting. So historically, your guaranteed income products, you'd have to wait the full calendar year to make sure you receive the roll-up rate before your client would turn on income. Because we credit the roll-up rate daily, your client can turn on guaranteed income 6 months, 7, 8, 9, 10 months into a contract and not have it be detrimental to them. They don't have to wait the full year because the roll-up rate is credited daily. 1.15% annualized fee. Of course, that is the cost to guarantee they do not outlive their money. Impairment multiplier we talked about, it's available in California. It's actually available in California in all of our income rider products. Pretty cool, considering some of our competitors have no products approved in California. We've got this pretty kick butt rider included. How about that, Lisa? How about that? But again,
mic drop.
But again, lots of flexibility around turning on income. So yes, we are the number one in guaranteed income for the age 60 to age 70 clients, what we call the retirement sweet zone. But we also have some great features, increasing income, day one income, daily crediting to that roll up rate. There's a lot of good stuff here, but maybe none better than we partnered with Michael Finca to create a white paper. And he actually reached out to us. He was working on an inflationary piece at the same time we were working on this Safe Income Advantage product. So we have this really great white paper that I'm going to make sure Lisa has and sends to you all in her follow-ups. I actually have a QR code. You can scan it, but it's not a white paper like you get from Goldman Sachs or BlackRock, where it's tough to read. This is a really consumable piece that is actually client friendly. So you can hand it to your client. It talks all about inflation, all about how fixed index annuities help solve for inflation, and it gives you concepts just like this one. So let me walk you through it. This is actually from the white paper. So we've got two retirees, both 65 years old, and both have $200,000. One buys the Safe Income Advantage. The other invests in bonds, right? Think about the 4% retirement strategy. So that's what we're competing with here is we have a Safe Income Advantage versus your traditional retirement. When they both retire, they need about $807 per month to cover their living expenses, okay? Now, during the first 5 years of retirement, inflation increases 5% year over year over year. And now, 10 years ago, this may have seemed like a far-fetched story, but right now, this is where we're headed. So remember those clients that are thinking about going back to work? Situations like this is what they're experiencing right now. So 5 years later, they're both having to withdraw $1,030 per month to keep up with inflation. So to pay for the same 807, they got to take out over $1,000. Inflation continues for 5% for 5 more years. So we got 10 years of 5% inflation. By that time, they're both spending $1,314 to cover the same expenses as their 807. And again, if you were telling me this 10 years ago, I wouldn't believe it. But based on the Fed not being able to control inflation right now, this could be a reality that we're all looking at here soon. Now, let's go on a little further. So the retiree who's using bonds begins to see the value of her investment fall to $113,000. So in 10 short years, she's lost almost half of the value of her retirement. So this is where the rubber hits the road. This is where things are really interesting. If she continues to try to match the increases that she's receiving in the Safe Income Advantage, by the time she hits 83 years old, there's a 70% chance that she's outlived her money. Now, if you're retiring today at 65 years old, and I said if inflation continues, which it has, and you hit 83, there's a 70% chance you've outlived your money. That's pretty riveting stuff. Both of my grandparents, great grandpa and grandpa, lived to be 95 years old. So if you told me when I retired that by the time I'm 83, there's a 70% chance I outlive my money, that's a pretty riveting story. And that's something that hits home. And this is the type of concept that is packaged up nicely within this white paper. I encourage you guys to read this, even if you're thinking the Safe Income Advantage may not be for me, may not be for my client, but there's a lot of great tidbits that talk about the bond market, where it was, where it is, paired with inflation. And there's some really good talking points around fixed index annuities and how they can be utilized in your practice to hedge against that inflationary market. So go ahead and grab that QR code. I will make sure that Lisa also has a copy of it. I know she has. I know she's read it. She made her kids read it. She's made her husband read it. The whole family's had to read it. But I am going to make sure that she has that. And I do encourage you guys to read that, because there's a lot of great pieces in there, like the one I just talked about. I'm going to back it up again. 70% chance she's outlived her investments by the time she's 83. Mm-hmm. That's pretty riveting stuff. That's a big deal.
Well, and a lot of things I'll just add, when I'm doing case management and, working with agents and trying to figure out what product is really the best fit for their clients, there's a lot of what ifs out there. Well, what if they don't need the money just yet? What if I need a little extra, before I turn on income? What if, a lot of what ifs. And if you think about, maybe some old clients that you talked to 10 years ago and you put them in whatever product 10 years ago, has anything changed in the last 10 years? Absolutely. So for F&G to give the flexibility in this product that fits the client's needs at the time that they need it is a big deal. And that's one of the favorite things I like to say about F&G. When I have that agent that has a client that's like, well, what if this? I'm not sure if I'm going to need this. And, what if I need a little extra cash? What if I want to take the kids to Disney? I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I get to tell them, well, hey, A, it's flexible premium. You want to add some more into it, you can. B, you've got your 10% free withdrawals. So if you need a little extra cash, don't worry about turning on the income rider. Let that roll up continue and take a little out of your account value. If you want it, it's yours, right? Take it. What about, the 2 of the 6 ADLs? That is a big story right now. People do not have long-term care. Is it meant to replace your long-term care? No, but hey, if I can double my salary to help pay for it, I'm not turning it down. So there's that for you as well. A lot of flexibility with this product, you guys. And yes, this is a great um, white paper to discuss with your 12 and 15-year-old over dinner.
Let them know about inflation, right?
Yep, they're learning about it in school, I guarantee you.
And last but not least, let them know that if they do business with F&G, it can be pretty profitable, right? In addition to your standard street level commission, we also have the ability for you to earn just a little bit more with F&G. These are thresholds. So if you do $2 million in fixed index annuity business with F&G, we're going to give you a 30 basis point bump. That is paid out quarterly and caught up at the end of the year. So I know we were talking, Lisa, you had an agent that received a nice little end of year bump from F&G. So if you get to 2 million, that's $6,000. You get to 3 million, 14,000, 5 million. That's when you get to $40,000, 80 basis points. So if you're doing fixed index annuity business, you're not doing it with F&G. Why not? Right? Let's get you paid a little bit more so you can put it in the safe income advantage and you can start hedging for your retirement.
That's right. It was a great moment to have a call from one of my agents this last weekend saying, "Hey, guess what's in my checking account?" And I was like, "Well, this is what you get working with IAMS. We're gonna point you the right direction, and partnering and writing your business with F&G. It's not a bad deal there either." Hey, David, I do have a question in the question box about death benefit. Do you want to cover that? You want me to?
Either way, happy to.
Go for it.
So what is the specific question? Is there a death benefit?
Yeah, basically, how does a death benefit for the family? So, what's in the account value is theirs. If you want to expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So this product has been described as a SPIA on steroids, which I kind of like. Payout factors are so high right now, but don't confuse it with the SPIA, because if your client has this contract and is taking guaranteed income and they die, whatever's left in the account value is paid out to their beneficiary in a lump sum payment. So it's not a 5-pay, 10-pay. There's no strings attached. The account value goes to their beneficiary.
Yep. Pretty cut and dry there. Might be digging a little deep, and this might have to be something that we answer off the air, but other folks that are already working with F&G might have the same question. So why not an accelerator 10 with the LIR?
Yep. So I think when you look at the accelerator versus the safe income, they're similar, but I think you have two separate clients there. Whereas the safe income advantage kind of reminds me of my mom, which is she just wants guarantees. She is a 2 out of 10 in terms of conservative. So she wants to know she's going to get a guaranteed paycheck and it's going to be X dollars down the road. That's what the safe income advantage provides. Whereas if you compare that with the accelerator, which is a market-based income, right? So if the account value grows, the income grows, you're looking at a different client. That's more like my dad, who says, I'm a believer in the market. I think we're going to get some returns, and I'm willing to gamble a little bit for a little bit more upside. But that's really the biggest difference in the products. Is one is a guaranteed basis, the safe income advantage, whereas you're relying much more on market performance on the Accelerator Plus. Good question though.
Yeah, great question. Are there any other slides? Are you cool if I launch my poll here and see if we need to
Yes.
get anybody additional information? All right. So folks, I'm launching a poll. If you are not already contracted with F&G, you're missing out. Give me a call, answer yes. I'll be sure to get you a contract going. If you have some folks in mind, maybe it's one of your parents, who knows? Um, Say yes here, I'll get you an illustration. We'll make sure that we get that over to you. Again, I will be sending out some handouts, some product highlights, brochures, and then that white paper that David was kind enough to share with us, that will also be coming your way. But I appreciate everybody being on our webinar today. Dave, always a pleasure hanging out with you, buddy. And if there's no other questions, Dave, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Nothing else for me. Appreciate you having me on. Appreciate the time today, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great week, and we'll chat soon. Thanks so much again for showing up, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.